Hey, it is Dr. Chelle. Welcome to Dr. Test Prep. Thank you so much for coming and caring enough about yourself to improve your score on the PSAT and SAT math. Right now, we're doing Unit 4, Lesson 3 from Khan Academy. If you have purchased my book from Amazon right here, it is $14.95. We're on page 71. If you didn't purchase my book, no biggie. Make sure you have paper and pencil to follow along, and you must open up the Desmos calculator in the description and choose the College Board assessment. All right, if y equals x squared plus 6x plus x has only one root, so if that function has only one root, what is the value of k? So remember, a root is anytime it crosses the x-axis. So I'm going to do y equals x squared. Y'all going to see how much I love the slider tool in this one. Equals k, or plus k. Add the slider feature. So if we look right here, when k is 1, these are my roots. I just want my graph to touch the y or the x-axis once, in which case I would only have one root. So if I move this backwards, notice how the graph gets further and further away. But if I move it this way, it gets higher and higher and higher, and then eventually, I'm going to leave it right here. So notice how it's like 9.2, and let's say you can't get it exactly. Almost always it's going to be an integer. So I'm going to take out the 0.2 and just have 9. And then there we go. There's our one root. So this is where it's tricky. We often think like, oh, it's -3, because oftentimes we ask you to find the root, but that's not the answer. Our k value is 9, and I got it from using the slider feature. Okay. There is a more complex way to do this. I'm not going to show you. Number 5, if 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. Okay, what is the sum of the roots? I definitely had. Let's fix this. See, I'm a human being. I'm not a company. What is the sum of the roots of? Now it makes more sense. Let's figure that out. Okay, all we're going to do is type it into here. Equals 3x shift 6 gives you the squared. Well, you have to type in the squared. All right, here are our roots. What is the sum of our roots? We have -1 here, and we have 0.333. Oh yeah, this is why I did this. There are certain fractions that you're going to just have to know, okay? So oftentimes I tell you when you get the solution and it's a decimal, you can use the fraction button. But look what happens when I type in 0.333. When I hit the fraction button, I get that. So you just need to know, like, okay, if I see 0.333, they mean 1/3. And let me show you. 1 divided by 3. See? So what I'm going to do is I'm literally adding -1 plus 1/3. Okay? Because my first root is -1. It says the sum of the roots, so I'm adding, and my second root is 1/3. If you had put in 0.33333, like, it would be wrong. Okay, so we're going to click this fraction bar, and we get the sum of the roots is equal to -2/3. All right, what are the roots of that function? So this is a difference of two squares, or we can just type it into the graphing calculator. Okay, when we go in, we get decimals. Okay, typically we don't have decimal roots. So all I'm going to do is go into the graphing calculator, hit my fraction button, and then get my fraction equivalents, which you probably knew. Now you're like, oh yeah, I knew that. So my roots are going to be -1/4 and +1/4. If you were to do this the long way, they would have wanted you to go like this. They would have, actually, there's two ways you could have done it. I'm going to show you both because it might be an advanced problem later. So the square root of 1 is 1. Plus and minus, because we're doing difference of two squares. The square root of 16 is 4. And the square root of x squared is x. And then you would have had to set each one of these equal to 0. I know. This is why I love my videos, because look how much faster we did it on using Desmos. And Khan Academy was great because they taught you how to do this without a calculator, because oftentimes you would have had to not have a calculator to help you do these types of problems. A negative divided by a negative is positive. Okay. So that's one way. The other way you would have been able to do it is set this equal to 0, and then subtract 1 from both sides, divide both sides by -16, and then remembered from advanced algebra that we get plus or minus 1/4. So obviously way easier to watch my videos and learn how to do stuff in Desmos. I'm just saying. Okay? Because if you wouldn't have known how to do number 6, we literally did it in 20 seconds. This is why my videos matter. Okay? I want you to be the most successful that you can be. All right, we're going to stop here. But before you go on, go back to Khan Academy, do the practice questions for Unit 4, Lesson 7, using the Desmos calculator tricks that I showed you. All right, go be a beast there. And then come back, and we're going to go over Lesson 8 with Khan, which is linear and quadratic systems. All right, see ya.